Hello, confidence speakers. It's Vanessa, your public speaking coach. So this week I want to do a series on imposter syndrome. Now, firstly, I want to call it the imposter experience because whether you are a student, a professional, an entrepreneur, or anything in between, that experience does not discriminate. We all tend to feel it every now and then. So that's the nagging feeling of, I'm not good enough, I don't know enough, I'm not qualified enough, who am I to even be speaking about this topic? And so I want to share with you some of the techniques that I use to navigate imposter experiences. But one positive that I really want to share with you is that when you experience it, it's not always a bad thing. It actually shows that you're about to do something great. You're about to do something new. You're about to expand yourself, right? It shows growth. You haven't spoken to an audience this big. You haven't led a project this significant. You haven't asked for this big of funding. You haven't landed such an important client before. Naturally, as you're going through the process, you might be thinking, me? Am I qualified for this? And so let's get into it. And so I have 3 techniques to share with you. The first one is about gathering evidence and knowing that skills are transferable. So gathering evidence means looking back and reminding yourself of situations where you have done the things that you wanted to do. You've been the new one before. You've been the youngest in the room. You've had difficult conversations. All of those moments, those are proof of your competence and your growth. If you've had to navigate through a tricky family discussion, you can take those skills and transfer them into a professional setting. If you've even planned a trip that left the WhatsApp group, okay, you can take those skills and move it and rather use it in project management. So it's to know that firstly, there's evidence of you doing something new, something difficult, something unfamiliar before. But secondly, just because you use those skills in a personal setting and you had a personal victory doesn't mean that you cannot take those skills, transfer them, and use them appropriately in a different setting that may be professional. Don't underestimate your skills and don't underestimate the power of your experience. The second truth is about building credibility and authority. So in this fight against imposter experiences, one of your strongest ally is your truth. And stating simple truths, both to yourself and to your audience, helps to build that credibility and authority. Simple things like your name, what you do, and why you do it. So knowing who you are, what you're doing, and why you're doing it. In that moment, it's so important because it's almost a declaration of your purpose. And so you're able to then lead with that. It builds credibility, it builds authority, not just for others, but for you. Remember, right now, the biggest hurdle is really just your mental state and that dialogue that you're telling yourself. So if you're able to convince yourself of who you are, you should know that what you're doing and why you're doing it, you're well on your way. Strategy number 3, it is all about embracing your unique expertise. A whole bunch of us believe in this expert fallacy where you need to know everything about everything at all times, which is not true. So many of us tend to think that we have to be the expert of all experts. And if you don't know something, you can't speak up, you can't ask the question. And that actually tends to hold us back and it feeds into our imposter experiences. What you need to do is to know your knowledge, your experience, your insights, and be able to package that in such a way that it will actually help your audience. So when you're asked about your thoughts, when you're asking questions, it is from your perspective. It really is your truth. You are an expert because you do have knowledge, you do have experience, you do have insights on the said topic. You just need to package it in such a way that it's helpful for your audience. So release yourself from this burden of being the ultimate authority. That's not what we're looking for. We're really looking for your experience because we need different perspectives in these conversations.